You guys, I'm not going to read this as Tony Khan's voice, nor did Tony Khan put this out. But I am going to read through this, I guess, as quickly as I can. And try and bear with me, folks. And let me chug some Red Bull first. WBD AEW statement. Warner Bros. Discovery and AEW to establish a new era of professional wrestling with multi-year, multi-platform media rights renewal. WBD networks to continue to be home to fan favorite AEW Dynamite and Collision. No mention of Rampage. And what is Tony saying about tonight's Dynamite, guys? He's literally tweeting it out. The overruns are going to be 30 minutes or longer, maybe even the longest of all time. What did I tell you guys? Rampage is going away, and it's going to be the third hour to Dynamite. And because WBD is going to go, who gives up? We'll keep 500,000 live, or if we can keep it to 6, great, 600,000 live for that hour after, and we'll just sell more ads. Boom. I literally called it. So no mention of Rampage. And Tony's going, Rampage is just going to go away. Or they'll just call the third hour of Dynamite Rampage. And then maybe they'll air the rerun of Rampage, and they'll call it Rampage on the streaming thing, and then Rampage, and it's just the last hour of Dynamite or something. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way they're going to work it in some kooky Tony McCann way. So January 2025. So like, right as the same time as Netflix, we're on streaming too. Holy, this is awesome. The streaming wars. Where's Moose Knuckle in the chat? Moose Knuckle, tell him about those streaming wars, dude. I know you know what's up. Pete in Texas for $2. PWT, Phil Marks and Bookmarks. Yeah. You ain't hype. Yeah, where's you ain't hype at tonight? You ain't hype. Oh, yes. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. It's where it's at. It's the place to be. Denisha Lane's been a member for 4 months. What? Appreciate you so much. Always here. Always here. Always posting the show and everything. That's Zack Snyder, not James Gunn. No. Hold on. Alan McCormick in the chat. No. Dawn of the Dead 2004. Sorry, you are right. Zack Snyder directed it, but James Gunn redid the original screenplay. So he took the original screenplay from the 78 version. He rewrote it, and then Zack Snyder directed it. Gunn and Schneider, dude. Back then in 2004, we were blessed. Think about all the comedies that came out in like 2008 and all that. Step Brothers, Superbad. We don't get good movies like that anymore. Dawn of the Dead's one of those. There's no just like zombies always like overly emotional, drawn out. Like, nah, you just got to wake up and your kid's biting your husband's throat off. And you got to get to the mall, like you got to just, zombies is better that way. Anyways, guys, we're getting off topic. So AEW pay-per-view events to be distributed on Max at discounted price for subscribers. Warner Bros. Discovery and AEW today announced a multi-year renewal of the highly successful 5-year relationship with an expansive multi-platform media rights agreement that will provide fans with the widest available access ever to AEW's most popular programming. WBD's networks and platforms will remain the exclusive home of AEW Dynamite, so no Fox. Swerve was just talking like a dummy. Yeah, man, Tony Khan lets me do whatever. SmackDown's leaving. We're going to be on SmackDown. And then he tweets out, I regret saying that. Or like he said in an interview he regretted saying all that. Now they're just with WWE.
Dummy, yeah.
Oh, man, can't make it up. Digital platform. Additionally, for the first time, the AEW Dynamite and Collision programming, no mention of Rampage, starting January 25, will stream live exclusively on Max, US only. All AEW programming airing on WBD's networks will also be available to stream on demand on Max. So this is why I need Dose here. Someone like, does this mean there's no more ratings talk? Like, can we just not talk? Like, does that mean we can't do like the no 600K, no milli, and all that, and like do all the Nielsen rate? Because that, like, all these streamers can just say people are doing whatever numbers, like they can say it. I mean, yes, there are people they do release stuff to, or they do brag things that they can back up, like, oh, Star Wars got 50 million the first episode. There are reports, there are ways to figure out now. It's tough, but it's like with the wrestling, who's gonna, Like, is Thurston? We got to trust him now because Tony will just go, we streamed a lot. Like, you know what I mean? How do we know now? It's so funny, but it makes it way more. If it removes that aspect of it, then we just got to go pound for pound. What's the better show? And then what do we know about, like, then we can just say, okay, objectively, Netflix has more subs. So just more people are seeing WWE. There's no argument about that. Then it boils down to, okay, what is the better, superior show? Which then we got to argue sort of like what our preferences are. So maybe it'll kill some of this. Who knows? But again, like I said, a TV deal doesn't mean AEW's good all of a sudden. Doesn't mean Tony's not booking and writing the show. So, exactly. They still can't get people at their shows. They want to really make a bang. January 25, run from a smaller building that's lit up really well. Guys, there's 165 of you watching. There's only 46 likes. So I'm going to need you sick bastards. You sick sickos to please hit that like button because I love you so much. And thanks for being here. So, stream exclusively. AEW and WBD will also collaborate to distribute AEW Live pay-per-view events on Max at a discount price per event. So here's where they're holding an L a little bit, and I'll explain it. I need some soda water. So this is what UFC does, right? You pay for all the dirt sheets and all the marks and all the pundits in the IWC aren't going to explain this properly to you. Phil Marks is going to do it right here, okay? Because I'm an MMA mark and I just know this because I experience. Okay. ESPN Plus, you pay for it every month, but then UFC does a pay-per-view, you got to pay for that pay-per-view. Now, a lot of people hate on the UFC for that, and it's a model that Dana White, if you guys don't know, just look into it. He goes so hard on like illegal streamers because that's a huge chunk of their money. Even though they do good pay-per-view business, it should be way more, probably like double or triple, and that goes with everything, you know? That's why like Jake Paul and them are going to Netflix to do a fight. They're not going to do it on, we're going to sell a pay-per-view. That's dead, okay? Dead, at least in its past form. You know, it's a way to just bring a bit of cash in, you know, in a lump sum. But other than that, I just think you got to get with the times. So WWE way ahead of everybody where they're like, we're getting 50 billion or whatever to stream our PLEs on whatever. AEW here, it's still you pay for Max and then you pay for the pay-per-view off of Max still, like UFC. So it will work. This will work, and they're discounting it for if you are a member like UFC. So you can just go through ESPN Plus to buy the pay-per-view. You can just go through Max to buy the pay-per-view, right? But if you're a subscriber monthly, then you get a discount. So it kind of just works out to the same, especially if you're just an AEW fan or you're just a UFC fan. For, you know, just to compare, I'm comparing the two. It sort of sucks because, like, what am I paying for other than that? But I mean, if you like sports and, you know, in the library and stuff, but I guess that's whatever. I think this is good for them, is all I'm trying to say. And WBD, what did I tell you guys? They just need to get theirs off the top. So that's what they're doing. Okay, yeah, it'll run through here, and this is like a backup plan for them. And the reason they're willing to do all this is because they've been invested the whole goddamn time. Told you guys, okay? But anyways, I hope this is making sense to you. I'm not as smart as Dose. I apologize, but trust me on this one. It is good for AEW, but like how many more people are going to pay? Like the normal people who pay for the pay-per-views, they're hoping they just go, okay, I'll just subscribe to Max or whatever. But there's a lot of people who can't get it that way. Anyways, this is also just US based, you know? So like I live in Canada, it'll probably be different for me. It'll probably just be straight up by pay-per-view or however. We'll figure it out as time goes. But all AEW programming airing on WBD's networks will also be available to stream on demand at Max. Good for them. Honestly, that's a good thing for them. Excuse me. And it's long overdue, and this is where they should be. I told y'all they should be on like a streamer thing. They can't be in a television war debate because that ain't gonna work. They gotta build. You know, they gotta build, focus on building. And additionally, for the first time, all AEW Dynamite and Collision Programming. Okay, I already read that. Pardon me. AEW and WBD will also collaborate to distribute AEW live pay-per-view events. Okay. Distribution on Max will begin later in 2025 with additional information and pricing to be shared in the coming months. So they don't even have info or pricing on this like nailed down yet. So a little gung-ho to say the least. No. Are you following this stuff?
Absolutely.
I called it to a T. Literally, it's
on.
crazy. Even I'm impressed with myself. I'm like, damn, I didn't think I'd even be this accurate. You know, I thought I'd have to eat some pucky a little bit, but no. The only thing I've had to do is argue with idiots who like don't know that I said they've been trying to get a deal this whole. They're like, I bet you're mad they got a deal, and tagging me in like my old gifs, and they're like, this aged like milk. Because I posted a gif about, oh, we've heard that before. Responding to like Zarian, who's like, oh, a deal's coming in imminently 7 months ago. Right. And the dude's like, someone went on there, he's like, I told you I'd be back. And it's like, yeah, dude, you're a sick weirdo. Yeah, like, dude, I was getting tired of hearing, oh, there's gonna be a deal right away. I always knew there would be one. That's why it took so long for them to announce anything.
But just
well.
let
it wasn't like they're just
like, we're trying to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
but I was like fixated on it too at the start. Exactly.
Tagged you back because Zarian, yeah, because how many that someone needs to do those numbers. How many times did Zarian and everybody else say a deal is imminent this week? And then they kept trying. They just kept swinging, missing. And yeah, no, you were dead on with this because you were smart. You took the time to listen to Dose. You listened to, Bischoff's been on it with his wise choices left and right. You didn't just, jump on the people that, where's the report go back to? Because if it goes back to Zarian or goes back to Thurston or goes back to Dave, but
and I listened to them
Dose
too.
had his
That's
horses.
how you discern. Yeah. The truth's in the middle, like you said once. You were like, yo, there's like 3 sides of the truth, or like 2 sides of truth. Bro,
there's
that's
3 sides to every story.
So I listened to that I thought were like Zarians and them, the Shillingtons. And then I listen to people like Dose and Bischoff and other people who talk about it, who are like, no, like Jonathan Coachman, people like that too. If you just read their tweets, they know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? And so, and then I just formulated my own, and I called it almost to a T. So I'm not sure. I've been blowing myself on that all day, but well, not all day since I heard the news a couple hours ago. But
hey, when you're right, you're right, man. You got to flip the bat. Take a look, watch the ball go over the fence. Yeah, especially exactly, man. When you get the dub, you get the dub.
Yeah, man. And speaking of the dub, AEW had this to say. Tony Khan and the entire AEW team have been incredible partners, and we are thrilled to strike this expanded agreement to deliver amazing new AEW content and stories to TNT and TBS, so they're staying on both. Don't have to get rid of the titles, as well as bring the thrilling live action to Max for the first time, said Kathleen Finch, chairman and CEO of US Networks WBD. We are focused on creating fresh and authentic experiences for AEW's passionate and engaged fan base, while also introducing them to our growing lineup of high action sports and entertainment at TNT and beyond. So they're trying to take the sickos and get them to enjoy, like, here's our sports and entertainment. No, you don't get it. They hate that. What you need to do is give a little to the sickos, right? Like, still keep them happy for sure. But like, have a street fight, have a hardcore belt and do a street fight once a show and let Moxley bleed, or whoever's got to bleed that week. Okay. But like, then also bring in the rope the casuals in. That's what every industry does. I wish I could remember. I think it might have been in the Vince doc. I was watching a documentary recently. I was watching something where someone said that, well, we want to give to like our diehards. Of course, we're keeping them happy every day, but like, we're trying to get them to tell 2 people and like grow this thing, bring in everybody. I was just watching something that wasn't, I swear it wasn't WWE related. Maybe if that was in the Vince doc though, because I've been watching a lot of that. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say here, man. Like, I've Phil of the Future here. You guys ever see that show? It might have been Canadian. I don't know, but Phil of the Future over here, dude, traveling back in time. I was spot on about all this. And they're honored to announce the incredible partnership. And I don't know, David Zaslav, Kathleen Finch, AEW since its inception, as well the AEW fans, talent, and staff that help make this possible. So yeah, they're up by going, we want to introduce our sickos to like what? A soccer mom show we're starting, or something. Like, what are you going to introduce them to? That's stupid. You want to try and get more casuals and then just cater to the sickos a bit. let Collision just be the sicko show with Darby Allin and all that crazy over there. That's what I would say would be the smart move, but I don't know. Their initiative is, and I don't know if anyone else will point this out. So we're going to follow that.
Should be the show for the sickos, especially if they're going to keep it on Saturday.
That's just it. I wonder if Collision, so they just won't go head to head.
Is that StreamYard messing up, or is that my internet?
And someone else said in the chat, does it mean the show's going to be better? No, it doesn't mean the show's going to be better whatsoever. It doesn't mean that at all. And that's exactly what I tweeted out. And just because WWE's going to Netflix doesn't mean it's going to stay white hot forever either. There's going to be ebbs and flows, or maybe it does. And just like I said, maybe AEW, they don't get a TV deal and they shit the bed forever. Who knows? But either way, the 5-year anniversary of Dynamite is about to start. But yeah, guys, I'm going to break this down like better than anyone.
Is a big. That up to, I mean, that's only 4 letters, but that's a big deal of it. Like, what does that mean specifically? Is like, how much is WBD got to recoup before they get I'd be very interested to know the back ends of that, because that can make a big difference. And if it's up to 150, where are they coming up with that 170? 170 means nothing.
Well,
if it's
because
up to 170.
Yeah, so this Pete Rocks guy, like I see the sickos in the chat like freaking out. But no, I did, dude. I had like a bunch of guests on. I predicted the deal like down to almost a T. I didn't think at all I would get it so accurately. I just listen to everybody around me. So if that triggers you, not the show for you, buds. Sorry, but I encourage you to hang out and check it out. Husey came on and said he heard that the Khan family are also the ones like doing it. So they're putting their money into this in some aspect, which I've seen no evidence of that anywhere. But okay, Tony got 150 million this year. This is per Thurston and their Shillingtons. Their roster salaries are like over 100 million a year. And SBJ reports that as a part of the new TV deal, WBD is retaining their stake in the company. So they reported, they're retaining their stake in the company. So somebody again made it clear to us on this show that, or maybe it was like a commenter or someone, shout out the chat. Somebody said that if WBD owns 25% or less, they don't have to reveal that publicly to anybody. Everyone who said, everyone who says like, WBD, we know, like Chris Connors come on here and he's like, shut him out, but he's like, no, we know because it has to be public. WBD is a publicly traded company, but I guess there's like some law if they own like 25% of it, they don't have to disclose that publicly or something like that.
No, that makes sense. That's why people donate certain things. Like I know in the US for like gifts or whatever, if you do more than 18,000, you have to claim it on taxes, which is why you see so many things at 17.5, to be under that. So yeah, if it's because I've heard Brian Last and a few other people say that they have close to 20% or, between 20 and 30. And I never really knew where that came from. But if it's less than that, I bet you if it's 25% or more, they're like at 24.5 or, they're right up at it.
Yeah.
That would make so much sense because then you don't have to report it. Yeah.
Here's this guy in the chat's like, stop acting like you broke any news, bro. And you're obviously hanging out. That's why I'm being nice to you, because you're obviously hanging because you like the chats about the graps. Bro, I don't break news. I make fun of all the people who pretend to break news,
Not news,
and they don't. I just read all the, but I just gave a prediction and I was right about it. Just like if you come on my pay-per-view and PLE live streams, I literally go 8-0 on pay-per-views with picks and stuff like that. And it happens a lot because I don't know what it is. I'm just good at this. I'm not breaking news. I don't want to break news. That's why this show's goated. That's why it's the top pod, bro. Welcome. But I'm being nice to you because I can tell you do like the chats, but I'm not pretending I break news. I don't do that. That's cringe, bro. I don't want to be like, my sources. That's what it's wrestling, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just reading what the other people who claim that say, and then I formulate an opinion. Just because you don't like that I objectively say AEW's been, I know because I've been a fan of it. Watched every dark elevation. If that makes you mad, I'm sorry. You're just a weirdo. Go outside. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Put the fries in the bag and let me get back to what I'm doing because I don't know what to tell you, bro. You're mad that I do a pod giving opinions about something I love. You're a fucking idiot.
Biggest problem.
Welcome to PWT, bro. You're always welcome here.
It's the biggest problem with the industry is that there's so many people that are news and opinion. Like you need to separate. Like if you're going to give the news. But that's like Dave can't give the news without interjecting his opinion or,
right.
whatever.
Or just pretending. He goes like,
right.
Well, everyone's and everyone says this, and you're like, well, who's everyone? Well, I saw one tweet that said he literally does that. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
From one tweet from a guy with 7 followers.
Yeah, dude. I just bookmark all the, whether it's right or wrong, and then I read it to you guys, and then we formulate an opinion. And typically I predict these things right. Do you know why? Because I'm not a triggered pussy, and I look at what everyone has to say, whether I agree with them or not. So
From
we got Ricochet and Ospreay.
You've never tried to be the news. You've always tried to be. I forget you like what you said. You're like weekend update kind of, or
weekend bro. I'm SNL. Y'all are
SNL. That's it.
I'm just that's the difference. I'm just making fun of you. I'm the clown making fun of the royals in the court, you know?
Bingo.
People have come on this show and tried to drop news and have like blown by. We're like, oh my God, you know, like, so that's cool. People trust me to come with me like that. So that's cool, man. You guys can do that, but I'm never going to sit here and be like, I have a scoop. You know, I'll tell you if I know. If I know, I'll tell you.
You're not Phil Scoops, you're Phil Marks.
Extra here. Read all about it. A new deal for a new era of pro wrestling. AEW and WBD have struck a multi-platform, multi-year media rights renewal for TBS TNT, and starting in 25, stream on Max. This is what I gotta honestly say is dope. I love that they're going on Max right at the same time Raw's going on Netflix, man. The streaming wars. Yeah, I love that, dude, because that's a South Park episode. It's like, you can't make this up, how funny this is. You know what I mean? Garden of Doom, Dose Evil. Shout him out. He goes, no Rampage, no Ring of Honor. See, I haven't even brought that up this whole time either. I'm babbling here, yelling at Marks. I forget to bring up Ring of Honor too. No Ring of Honor. So, Alt Jake, do you agree with me? Ring of Honor, YouTube show, 2 weekly shows on YouTube, developmental program. What do you think?
I mean, 100%, because they can't be getting. I mean, how many subscribers are actually there to Honor Club? Like, no one is subscribing to that. Just make it their fully developmental. You know, figure and find somewhere. Do it like where there's just like NXT does it, where you have a PC where people can work out and figure things out and get some coaching. You know, that was why
the Rhodes Wrestling Academy or whatever, because they're saying Dustin Rhodes might re-sign with AEW, but that's later news. Sorry, go ahead.
That'd be a good reason for him. But that's like how, when we were talking last week about how the difference between Dominic and Hook and like how Dominic got so much better, it's because he went down like in between. On his off days, he went down to NXT, and it's because he was doing house shows and in smaller venues, and he was putting in the work off screen, so it would pay off on screen. And that's the reason why nothing ever changes with this company, is because they only do this stuff once a week, maybe twice, and they don't ever work together and figure it out. And so it just stays the same. So yeah, if they could do that with Ring of Honor, that'd be fantastic. And it would be, if put it on YouTube, it doesn't make money like Honor Club, but Honor Club can't make any money, you know, monetize it. I would watch it, because that's the same thing I used to put on Dark. I work from home, so I would throw it on in the background all the time when I was doing clerical stuff, you know. Didn't watch it intently, but I would at least keep it on, you know. And sometimes you'd catch stuff or see somebody, like I remember when I was watching the wrestlers and Haley J came on, and I was like, oh, it's Hollywood Haley J, and I paid attention, watched the match, you know.
Moving along, no Rampage, no Ring of Honor, unclear of pay-per-views with Max. I think that's clear. Unclear on Battle of the Belts. Yeah, I think that's gone, guys. Unless they just go, we'll add a third hour onto Collision this 1 week and do a Battle of the Belt. Like, I could see them still doing that. Those elements probably include 1 to 2 potential reality shows per year. Yeah, obviously. Wrestler appearances on other WBD shows. So obviously, that's called business integration, pal. Yeah. So I don't know, just all the usual stuff. Seems more like what Cody Rhodes was doing with AEW too, like reality shows and make sure we're on shows and stuff like that. So Variety, AEW to stream on Max following new multi-year rights deal with Warner Bros. Discovery. Dynamite and Collision will be simulcast on HBO Max starting in January, per Fightful and Andrew Zarian. After everyone else, all the real journalists told everybody. And yeah, those AEW fans, man, I think I just dismantled them with the fucking. And I'm an AEW fan. I'm an AEW fan, and it's like, yeah, bro, you guys are just off. They all think like we're all doing. They have these arguments in their heads with other people, and then they like apply them to everyone. And it's like, no, I'm not that dude that you think, you know? Just
that's
I
what
talk to
coming with
wrestling.
misconceptions.
Yeah.
And they think that you're one of the and even awful. I mean, to a point, like, if it was a better product, he would have to at least admit it. He can admit when he's wrong.
He would, but he wants it to die.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he's one of the few that actually
today,
does.
bro.
Yeah, because most of the time when they say these people want it to fail, it's like, no, because I mean, like, Marv on his show, he's like, the hell I do? I mean, he's like, I don't want you to fail. It kills half my characters on my puppets.
I've never been of that ilk, dude.
No,
I'm a fan, dude.
I've always been a fan of yours is because you have the exact same mindset as I do. I'm gonna pick it apart when it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, when the show started, bro, I was only putting it over too. When PWT started, I was only putting the show over for the most part, like. And then it slowly divulged into me just being like, dude, I don't know. Like, I'm watching WWE pick up.
You can't be like these freaking marks that are trying to tell you, oh, no, this is great. This is the best. Like, I saw a clip of, I was on, I think, Alfred's most recent video. He had that clip of Tony on Busted Open with LaGreca saying that whatever terrible storyline that he had just ran, he's like, I think it's the greatest thing in wrestling television today, and I'm watching everything. I'm like, if you actually believe that whatever you ran is the greatest thing in wrestling television today, if you actually can convince yourself of that, you're just lost. Because come on, the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre story, everybody can agree that that's the best story we've seen this year. Like, just period. Yeah. And it's not even close, and to try and say, oh, whatever I ran was the greatest thing to, guys, shut up. Like, it's just, and that's where those sickos have that mindset, and you can't convince them otherwise. They're just lost.
Or people like Tom T in the chat who's like, nobody cares about your bad imitations and flutes, except for everybody here cares about them, and you do too, because you know that I do bad imitations and flutes. You dummy.
Yeah.
Welcome, though. I hope you hang out tonight. Consider super chatting. I'll read you on air more. The awful one. You're an awful one, Mr. Awful. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. We can hear you loud and clear.
We can hear you. Awful like you, I am in mourning. I thought David Zaslav would be smart and go, I'm going to kill this bitch. But no, he resigned them. Damn it, I'm pissed about that.
Give us your thoughts on the whole thing. It went down. The deal happened, man. Finally went down. I already blew myself. I nailed it on the show, like to a T, basically, dude.
Right.
But just from listening to other people and regurgitating smarter people, I'm going to pat myself on the back all night, folks, so get used to it. But Awful, yourself, where were you standing before all of this? We just went over your Bleacher Report thing where they dropped them. And
right.
Yeah, so where are you at with it all? Are you like, oh, I'm up, or are you just like, cool, I get to make fun of them longer? Where are you at with all this, man?
That's hilarious. Listen, I played sports. I'm sure hopefully you guys have played sports too. Absolutely. And you won some games and you lost some games. Yep. And you just moved on from there. But can we curse? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Of course. Yeah,
but listen. This is a thing that I got wrong. What can be said? I never expected WBD to be so retarded as to get these guys another deal for, I don't know how long the deal is for. I've not seen specifics yet. Can you guys fill me in? Maybe you might enlighten me on some things.
Yeah, so the deal is for what I read was, or I have it, Jim Valley actually posted it, and he misread what it said, and then MJ from NJ sent to me, DM'd it to me just in time for the show, and basically what it said was he just misread what the deal was. I think it's in the sicko section, and I will jump in there, but they get up to 150 million per year. Yeah, I got it right here. So the deal is valued at upwards of 150 million per year when all elements are taken into account under the new deal. AEW shows Dynamite and Collision will remain on TBS and TNT. No mention of Ring of Honor. No mention of Rampage. Tony Khan teased that tonight there's going to be a 30-minute plus overrun, maybe even longer. So it's been my prediction. They're just going to tack an extra hour onto Dynamite moving forward.
So hold on. So the whole deal, how many years again?
5 years. So
okay.
I think you said 2028 they'd be gone.
I thought it was 3 years guaranteed and a fourth year an option.
That's cool too, but I thought it was 5 years, dude. That's
See,
what I heard.
this is what I'm talking about right here, right now.
Exactly.
This
Yeah,
speculation as to what these numbers are and to what extent this deal is going to last. So if we're saying 3 years, that's $450 million total, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And if it's for 5 years, tack on another 150 million, supposedly, and we're going on the high end because they said upwards of 150 million. That's $600 million, correct?
Yep.
That is not $1 billion, correct?
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
okay. So because we're going to go through this point by point.
Yeah, let's do
because it seems like a lot of want to believe in waterheads who are internet pundits and claim like, just because they got a deal, everything's copacetic. For months and almost a year, you guys were lied to.
Yeah.
Okay, me too. We were all lied to and told that this was $1 billion company, and it isn't. At most, it's $600 million. And is that enough? Secondly, is that enough to drive any sort of profit into this company? No. Does this mean that the crowds are suddenly going to come up, or does this mean more money in which Tony Khan can buy more tickets? Can I just get can I just get 1 minute of everybody's time?
Yep.
When I said that Wembley wasn't going to bring in over 55,000 people, I was right.
Yeah. When
I said that Dynamite would never touch 1 million viewers this year, I was right. When I said that the attendance would fall faster than boxer shorts at a Diddy party, I was right. When I said that Edge, Mercedes Moné, Will Ospreay, Okada, and any other newcomer coming into AEW wouldn't add any viewers, I am right. Yeah. And when I said that the company wasn't worth $2 billion goddamn dollars, I was right. It's not. So I will take the heat on predicting boldly, by the way. It wasn't too many people saying like there ain't going to be no deal at all. I stuck my neck out. Exactly. Okay. And that's what people who love to take risk and aren't afraid to be wrong do. Yeah. I'm not trying to protect myself. I'll take all the heat. In fact, some of the tweets that I saw were hilarious as hell, bagging on me. Okay. They brought back some bookmarks of some tweets that I was just like, oh, that was a good one. Doug. That was a good one.
I was dealing with that too today. It was like, God damn.
But let's face facts, everybody. Everybody, please pay attention to this next comment. It's very simple. This deal can collapse at any time. It may collapse tonight based on what we saw earlier about apparently an hour and a half ago. There was an injury on the very first episode of their 5-year anniversary. Two of them. Okay. So we're already off to a ridiculous start, if you ask me. So I can be wrong about the AEW WBD deal. I didn't really, I gave Warner Brothers too much credit. $9 billion in the goddamn hole. And all of a sudden these guys get a deal. Okay. Yeah. I don't know who's more stupid, Tony Khan or David Zaslav. See, we can credit and we can talk about how like everybody was waiting for this deal to come and it is going to come. And everybody they played it safe. That if you ask me, I'm the one, and there are a few others, trust me, but it seems to be like I'm the target of this whole thing. I've got no problem being wrong on this. We're going to find out in the next 2 to 3 years, because like my gig's up on 2027. Okay, I hope you guys all put that down on your. My gig is up, whether I win this or whether I lose this. My gig is up. So
he's got an end date.
Yeah, I've got an end date.
This is why I love Awful, man, because he's real, guys. He's real. He's really real.
And then I go on and do something else. But listen, this whole thing, see, it's crazy. We're coming full circle. The very first podcast I went on as Awful Wrestling was this one. Okay. And Phil and Marv was on the show as well. You guys know the origin story. You guys know why I'm here and how I'm here. I'm not trying to be here forever. Okay. I got a bet I'm trying to win, and I got a book that I'd like to write. If that doesn't happen, life goes on, gentlemen. But you know what I mean? Like I really do. Forward. Always moving forward. Why would I want to look back? I'll tell you what. We better hope to see 1 million viewers tomorrow. I saw that NXT number. They did pretty goddamn well. Okay, we better see 900,000 people tomorrow, people. Okay, because my gig isn't up till 2027, and like I said, that's 3 more years. Anything is likely to happen. Hey, listen, just a quick history, and I did put it in my renewals and cancellations. Shad Khan bought a black news channel. Okay,
we covered it on the show. We covered the video on the show. Yep. They know. We chronicled it. Yeah, awesome.
But keep in mind that just a few hours before they were canned, they put out a tweet saying, "We got the biggest crowd of people watching our program when we had the Ketanji Brown confirmation for the Supreme Court." Yep. Within 3 hours, that network was gone. Anything is likely to happen. These guys could hit the eject button on at any time. Not to mention, WBD has a history of renewing shows and then canceling them soon after. So celebrate now, fellas. Celebrate now.
What do you think is going to happen with the streaming? The fact that it's January and January with both WWE and AEW both starting on streaming. I called it the streaming wars, like South Park, and we're going to have those happening at the same time. What will happen? Because then, like, the TV rating conversation goes out the door. Like, we won't be comparing that. We'll be looking at like what Netflix and Max claim, however many people they claim are watching the shows, basically. And then the whole ratings, like no Millie discussion and all of that sort of goes out the window because we're not going off traditional TV ratings. Or what do you think about that, Awful?
So where are we going to get the numbers? Are there going to be numbers that are going to be provided to Brandon Thirsty and all the people at WrestleNamics
anymore? We can't trust those for sure anymore.
Okay.
NXT and SmackDown will still be on regular. They're not going to anywhere.
Right. That's only in Canada. So
NXT is not, SmackDown's going to.
Yeah. SmackDown's already on USA.
Yeah, so it's like,
I'm in Canada and everything's going to Netflix. That's my mistake. So, yeah, as far as Max is concerned, though, how will we know the Dynamite ratings then? Awful. Like, what do you think? Do you think that conversation goes out the window? Or do you think we can just go based off of these numbers they'll leak to Thirsty?
It might be one less video I'll be producing a week, if anything. But other than that, I don't see them growing an audience. The last time I checked, and I did a little bit of research today while I was hammering it out here at work. But TBS has a total of 90 million homes. Okay. And Max, as far as the US is concerned, they have 97 million worldwide, but in the United States, it's 45 million. So I understand that there's going to be a simulcast, but who the hell is watching Max with a myriad of great movies and great television shows is going to choose AEW goddamn Dynamite on Wednesday? Let's get real. If they haven't watched it on TBS, they're not going to watch it on Max.
Yeah. No, you're probably right, but
sure. I want to throw this out there to Awful. I mean, when you consider how much Tony is paying the talent, and it's rumored to be anywhere between 110 million to 170 million. Like, how bad is it that this TV deal, they're not even making enough to, be profitable? But this is basically a deal where they're still losing money. But hey, Tony Khan and Daddy Khan are going, yep, hey, we'll burn it. We don't care. As long as little boo-boo son is so happy.
Right.
So that's what I was going to say. Like, because Awful said anything can happen in the next 3 years, except AEW turning a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit's not
really. How about I put that on my predictions for next year? AEW won't turn a goddamn profit.
Awful, you can always write the book, though, even if this gets absorbed by WWE in the year like 2075.
Well, that's a death if you ask me.
Yeah,
that's a death.
Right. I agree. No, that counts as a death. Yeah, that's the ultimate death. Actually, if WWE absorbs you, that's fucking like the worst death you could suffer in the wrestling business. The Rabbit Wolverine LC Killer 17 says, "Hi, Awful. What happened?" Well, he just told you. Thanks for the $2. Jamie Earhart for $5 says, "Awful sounds mad." Awful. Are you mad today? Or
no, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
No, I'm just being passionate, like the people who were bashing me and calling me all sorts of names have been passionate about their thing. I am not mad at all. I mean, my goodness, I'm still gonna. I hope, God willing, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and do what I do every day, and that's make fun of AEW.
Do it well. And
Yeah.
business is booming.
Thank you for the
Yeah, I
mud dog.
mean, my goodness. And here's the other thing, folks.
Yeah.
I just want you to know, you guys can rag me all you'd like, but just make sure it's clever and funny. I swear to God, I will repost it. But more so than this, everything that I've given as far as this account is concerned is for transparency, and it is absolutely free. I don't charge you $14.99 to string you along, okay, for 6-8 months about some deal that just happened and is currently underwhelming and non-performative to these things. I am the one who does this thing for free. I'm not asking for anybody's money, okay? But there are people who lied to you, okay? Okay?
For
Lied to you
$14.99.
for $14.99, told you this one and that one, said that was going to be in May, it wasn't, said it was going to be in July, it wasn't. They strang you along. I don't string people along. There are a lot of people who do this for fun. I'm one of them.
And you
like I said,
takes, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
I disagree, it's like at least he stands on his,
that's the other thing. It's just like, what sort of wimpy sort of out should I have had? Should I have been lying in the corner crying or anything? And I've always been a loudmouth. I mean, this is not me being angry, but at the same time, let's face it, folks. So I was wrong on this, but will I be wrong on the fact that their audience will still dwindle, that their wrestling product will still be absolute, and now they've got a blockade on letting anybody know what the real is? That should be suspicious to anybody who's an AEW fan. How you guys are not going to be able to have any sort of transparency anymore on things that you might be interested in, like, hey, are they growing as an audience? Are they making profit?
Awful. Here's the thing. We'll still know the attendance. We'll still get stooged the pay-per-view numbers and that through the people who aren't subscribed to Max, who just buy it traditionally, like through the app or whatever, just one-time purchase. Part of the deal is that it's discounted. So it's like the UFC with ESPN Plus. If you're a member of ESPN Plus, you get a discounted pay-per-view, but you still got to pay extra for the pay-per-view. That's how AEW's deal is also worked out with on Max there. But the thing is now the argument's going to be shifted to just like, well, what wrestling is better? Who puts on the better sports entertainment show, etc. And that's actually a big part of the deal as well. As WBD's like, yo, we want to introduce the AEW core fan base to our other sports and entertainment. That's what they've called it. And it's funny because this episode of Dynamite,
so it can get further diluted, lost in the sauce with all these other sports.
Yeah. And I was like, and what is sports and entertainment? Like the moms of tennis wives or whatever, you know what I mean? Like whatever.
Who knew who's going to be watching AEW is not going to get their mouth all wet for any other wrestling product. They're going to look at this and be like, okay, isn't there something else better going on? I guarantee it. Okay. I didn't say that I was going to guarantee that they wouldn't get a deal. I just said, I don't believe they were ever going to get one, but I'm guaranteeing now. The crowds are going to dwindle. The ratings will still suck. More injuries than ever before because now these guys are riding on the high horse and they're like, you know what? I think I will do that 720 splash because we got the new TV deal. So now I think I'm going to do that spike pile driver off the top of the cage. It's only going to get worse, folks. And just you wait. See, the things that I'm right on, nobody's really going to take account for that. But I'm wrong on this one thing. Oh, and by the way, I'm not looking for credibility. I'm looking for laughs.
Yeah, exactly.
I do want that. That's the biggest thing. Like, I am not trying to be SRS Waterhead, or I'm not trying to be Dave Meltzer Waterhead, or any of these bubbleheads that think that they've got this thing all in line. Stop right there. I don't want your money. I just want your laughs.
Well, in this deal too, like,
he just wants your laughs. He's like Goku. Why don't you guys all raise your hands? Give him a spirit bomb of love.
That's right.
He needs your hugs and loves and laughs right now.
Yes, indeed.
Medicine. No, you're gonna write the book. You're gonna sell out of it. So let's get real. But so don't lie to the people. No, but listen, it'll still get written one way or the other, dude. You just gotta do it in like chat. You just gotta do it in like volumes. You know.
Right. Yeah, listen, I'll tell you right now, breaking news, if this thing dies in like 2031 or 2032, trust me, I'm going to be there. The account may not be there, but you'll see the book on eBay or Amazon or wherever fine books are sold. And then, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going away. I just may be halted back a little bit. Right now, I've got 4 flat tires. I'm going to have to blow them all up and get back on the road.
Yeah. Well, speaking of like mouths being wet, I think you said that before, right?
Yes.
AEW Real One heard about this deal and started salivating. And he goes,
great.
happy 5-year anniversary to AEW Dynamite. On this day in 2019, AEW Dynamite made its debut. I needed to see a major wrestling promotion with a TV deal. WWE was absolutely atrocious.
What would you?
And I was just watching out of habit. TNA was Impact, and that was bad. I needed something to watch and enjoy because I love wrestling. AEW was formed, and I watched the Dynamite debut on TNT, and I never looked back. Dynamite has delivered the best wrestling, the best show since 2019, and because of it, it reignited my passion for wrestling. Thank you to everyone who made this possible, from the ring crew to all the men and women who wrestle every week. And thank you, Tony Khan, for making this possible.
Let me ask you gentlemen something. Let's say you guys have a little cousin, right, or a nephew, or probably possibly even a son, and you haven't seen this child in, I'd say, 5 years, right? And then he walks in your door. Well, he doesn't walk at all. He crawls within your door. 5 years old. He's crawling. He's skinny. He's gaunt. He hasn't been fed in about 3 years. Wouldn't you find that a little crazy? Wouldn't you find that a little like odd that a 5-year-old kid is walking like Stephen Hawking and is not really like developing? That's AEW right now. 5 years and nothing has the ratings have gone down and the audience has gone down.
But awful. They can save it. I was thinking about how they can save it. They double down on things like, more Mercedes Moné, more Chris Jericho. Better yet, Mercedes Moné versus Swerve Strickland intergender match. Because remember, creative control.
Right. Or whenever they bring in a new black wrestler, he should immediately face another black wrestler. I mean, this is what all AEW is. It's all it's ever going to be. It's a niche product. Thankfully, for all the AEW fans, they have now got a deal, and that kind of talk can kind of fade away. But it doesn't mean a damn thing. I mean, cancellation, that big C word, is still on the table. It can't be denied.
Pete in Texas says Real One is one of the biggest losers in the history of life. Yeah, dude, he's a real sicko. I'm going to thank you so much for that, Pete in Texas. Yeah, I agree, dude. We roast him all the time. He's truly deep down just a WWE fan, though, man. He's doing that for the clicks. So we were talking about attendance, though, and I say landmark. So in quotes, I made the sicko section, guys. I said landmark franchise AEW pay-per-view Full Gear, because that's what the Tony Khan calls it. He says it's a landmark event and it's a franchise, right? And so Full Gear is drawing 2K less people than an NXT TV show right now, dog. Times are crazy. And then people this guy bookmark this. It will be 10K on the day of. And everyone's like, yeah, they'll open more seats. Right, but they're saying that they'll open more seats. And I'm like, yeah, bro. The thing is that they're not gonna, though. And if they do, let's even say that it's set up for 5K. They sell the 5K, and then on the day of Tony Khan buys 1,000 tickets, like everybody accused him of last time. Then it still is not the 7,000 whatever NXT just did. Like, we're just going off of trends and math here, folks. I don't know what the argument is. So many people melted down. Bookmark this, it'll be 10K on the day. All these idiots, like, they don't understand. Like, yeah, dude, we're looking at the last pay-per-view, which was on track to outdraw this one. Like, that's where people come up with it. So I don't know, man. It's arguing with sickos and all constantly. But you don't think the attendance will do better moving into the future? And the TV deal, I said it at the top of the show, the attendance won't get better and the creative won't get better. just because there's a new TV deal. That has to be. So tonight they're in like a civic center. The crowd's well lit. The hard cam side is completely full. Just run shows like this. It actually looks good, but we'll see. Can Tony's ego last? If I'm him, I'm only doing smaller buildings like this.
But does he care? I mean, he has a deal. He won. He gets to show Daddy, hey, Dad, I got a TV deal. Yay!
And Husey came on the show and he said that he heard. Okay, he wants to use the sources. I ain't doing none of that. But he said that it's like the cons are investing in it as well. Like they're reinvesting in this somehow. He probably
like just hemorrhage money from somewhere else. I mean, where else do they get that family hemorrhage money from?
Right. I don't know. Who knows if.
Hey, as long as you have NFL money, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Like if you have enough money to own like an NFL team, you probably are pretty well off as far as like doing whatever you want for as long as you want. That's why I always said AEW is going to stay around. You know what I mean? Like I just don't see it going anywhere. I don't, man. I know. But like even if it's on YouTube, Tony will never.
That's what I've said.
This
even
thing
if they
go.
lost
Yeah,
the TV deal, they just go. Tony would just go to YouTube,
bro.
He'll
he
do
wouldn't
it for as long as he can, and either until he goes physically insane, or takes too
until
much.
Dad basically cuts him off. Dad will go. Look. I'm going to cut you off. You need to actually do your real job, not this plain job.
That's a damn shame that we've got to do this psychoanalyzation of Tony Khan. Like he'll always have it, he'll always make it so. And I mean, then that means that this isn't a real business. This isn't here to make money. And that's one of the things that I've always, that's one of the things I've stayed quiet on. Like, I don't know if it's a real business or not, if he's really trying to make money or not. But now I'm being more convinced every day, like this is a long-term hobby that he's invested in I guess to keep out of the real, I'm starting to believe it, like to keep out of the real important that goes on in the business world in Shad Khan's atmosphere.
Exactly, because Fulham was relegated to the second division league, and then once Tony got for AEW, they got promoted back up because he didn't have his hands on trying to buy players and run the team.
Right.
The Jaguars, they're just terrible. You can't really.
They're 0-4.
They're always bad. Like they had one good season in the last 20, but get Tony away from the real world.
MVP's come around last week. He gave his card to Nana, and he's like, "Hit me up with Swerve." Then he comes up to Monet and gives her a card, and I'm just pointing this out, right? So, Awful, you're a black man. You can speak to this, okay? I'm not allowed to. We're all not allowed to. So, people accuse Triple H of being racialist. Shout out Ali G, because, he puts races and groups together. But, I mean, as Alfred Konowa would point out, that's what happens in jail. That's what happens in life. You know what I mean? Kind of. It's just how it is. We're tribalistic as humans. But, anyways, so they accuse Triple H of sticking people with the same ethnicity and the same factions, and that's racialist. And then you look at it's seemingly that's what MVP's doing. He's given his card to only black people thus far, seemingly accumulating a black faction, maybe. What do you make of all that? And what do you make of like people like Swerve? He came out earlier in the show. We read Booker T's response to Swerve, what people would deem playing the race card recently. What are your thoughts on all of that in wrestling?
Before I get into that, let me ask a simple question. Did they use MVP's name tonight?
Did they use his name? I cannot remember for the life of me. So.
Very interesting. I want a couple people to see something. Last week when MVP said M to the VP, he also gave his card to Prince Nana. And I found it very interesting that Prince Nana had his thumb over the P on the MVP card. And I'm just curious. Yeah, absolutely. Go back and look. I don't lie to you people. And then tonight, I have not seen the footage, but I'm almost venturing to guess that they probably did not use the three letters put together MVP. And I'm interested to see what would happen. What happened when MVP gave the business card, which has MVP written all over. I wonder if she had to cover up a letter or something. I'm just curious.
You couldn't even read it. They like kind of zoomed out of
very interesting. Very interesting.
And I don't think they did call him MVP. Then I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah. So that would mean that I was right on that too.
Yeah. Dude, what do you think? So he can't call himself like like what would he call himself then? Just Montel Von Tavia? You can't even do that, I guess.
Yeah. It would be MVPEE.
Oh,
How about that? MVP. But as far as the listen, I said it on Toonie Talk Wrestling. It would be very interesting. It would be very interesting for them to for them to push the envelope on this racial thing. It may bring in a new audience. It may bring in people who are from, outside in and see something maybe possibly relatable, what we see here going on in this country. But based on what we know about Tony Khan's week-to-week booking, how much legs does this thing have? Like, how could you not book this in a long-term fashion to where there's going to be a clear winner and a clear loser, a clear heel and a clear babyface? Again, with week-to-week booking, I don't care how many Negroes that MVP gives his business card to. Is it going to work in storyline fashion? I don't care how many white cracker recruits that Moxley brings along. I don't care about any of that. Is the story going to work? We talked about this last night on the show. Nation of Domination worked because they poked at it. They didn't go all the way in with it, but you knew enough about it where it was just like, okay, this is a racialized group and all that. But they didn't have to say it on the nose. With this, if they can just keep it at a certain level and let the intimation with the Moxley's crew versus MVP and him bringing in black folks, if that's the case, week-to-week booking is not going to do it, because you might suck one week and then the next week you've lost 150,000 viewers because you suck so bad the week before. You can't do that in this profession. You've got to make something that's going to be long-term storytelling. Now, if the whole deal is Bobby Lashley comes in and whips up on all these white boys, okay, hold on. That will be well and all good. But now what? You see? Now what? Now he's facing Ricochet on Rampage. Oh, by the way, I said in my predictions last year that Rampage would be canceled. I was right.
I called that too. Yeah, dude. But it's gonna be like the third hour of Dynamite. I think tonight they're gonna introduce like a third hour. Tony's like, it'll be an over 30-minute overrun, maybe even longer. And I think part of their deal is Dynamite gets a third hour. Like, that's what I've been saying this whole time. And then Rampage just goes away. There's no mention of Rampage in any of the press release stuff anywhere.
Of course there isn't, because the show sucked.
It's really is TK Sandbox with live people instead of action figures. Facts. He's a man-child who's never done real work, and it shows. Great show tonight. Well, oh, come on now, Jonesy. That's not very fair to call Tony Khan a man-child. Yeah, it's what he does, man. And
by the way, I want to say this. I am calling right now that Shades Pockets Cassidy is going to beat Lashley. And everybody's going to just go, well, we can see that. And there's going to be regular wrestling fans just going to looking good. What the F is going on? Why is Lashley jobbing to a guy who is small enough to be his literal son?
We're going to see Lashley once every 8 weeks. Okay, I believe he's not really going to showcase Bobby Lashley, because he'd have to, just like I said before, for Bobby Lashley to be effective in AEW, he's got to wipe out the entire locker room. He's got to lay waste and claim his ground. And even Moxley shouldn't be able to stop. No one should be able to stop him in that company. And then from there, you build up a babyface, an underdog, somebody who progressively scratches and claws to get the wins that he so desperately needs in order to beat Bobby Lashley, the second black AEW champion.
I know
Tony Khan would be able to book big guys like that.
Yeah,
Tony Khan books big guys like Vince McMahon booked small guys. Tony Khan can't book big guys. There's no chance. I'd love to see it. It would work, but yeah, no matter who they bring in or what they bring in, until there's a change at the top, or at least somebody that will not just tell Tony, oh yeah, it's a great idea. It's fine. This is fantastic. Everything's great.
You know what? I have a new wish. I want to see the reaction from our friend Kevin Apollo when Daniel No Muscles Garcia beats Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, if Vince was still running WWE, he'd bring Apollo in as Lobby Bashley. Yeah, fake Lashley here. But wait,
see you next Wednesday.
So this is at Pro Wrestling Counselor, and he's responding to Phil DL616. And Phil clearly doesn't read or watch This Is Nasty's work. Speaking about Konua, he falls for the racist narratives his peers and AEW freakazoids on here have of Alfred in defense of AEW. And here's Phil going at Alfred. And I'm going to get Alfred to react to this on the show. But we're just going to briefly touch on it because we were sort of just talking about that. So honestly, Alfred has done more harm in discussions around diversity and race in pro wrestling than anyone. He sensationalizes these topics and uses them as a punchline in biased videos that are neither in-depth or constructive. It's blatantly obvious that he does it for clicks. Dude, that's what everyone does.
Fucking moron. Yeah, seriously. There are 500 million people on goddamn Twitter. And this guy is catering to they make it seem like Alfred Konua stands on high, watching from above, and he's able to influence the billionaire and all of his underlings. Give me a break with that. I mean, stop it. All right, Alfred Konua is trying to build a following, and that's how you got to do it. Sorry, people, if you guys aren't clever enough to have a great goddamn a comedy account or an informative account or any kind of account that can bring in people, so sorry for you. And it's always those types of people that got like 15 followers.
I know,
you know what I mean?
And they have 30 views on it, and they've had a channel
give
for
me a
11
break.
years. Yeah. I know.
So I mean, let's face facts. Konua he's in his own lane. There ain't nobody else doing it like he's doing it. Okay, so quit hating on that. You know, I've only got a couple more minutes, but I just want to say this. I do want to thank. I want to thank all of you, every one of you, for following me. Like, this thing wasn't even supposed to be as big as it was, but I appreciate people following me and you know, interacting with me. I really do get a kick out of it, and it looks like for the next 3 years we'll get more kicks out of it.
Exactly. Awful, man. Let the people know where they can find and follow you. And thanks for popping in, man. I missed having you on the show. I missed having you on the show for a while, and hopefully you pop in more. But let the folks know where they can check you out and like what you got going. Anything you want to plug, or you just want to give them hugs and kisses and laughs.
I will be crying. I will be crying under a bridge and coping each and every day at AEWFUL Wrestling. And I just want everybody to know I say 725K tomorrow for AEW's rating. Okay. 725. But thank you guys for having me on, and I appreciate you guys giving me a little platform here to not to vent, but to clarify.
Yeah, dude. You were the first guy. I was like, man, I need to hear what Awful's like gotta say unfiltered, because it was. But dude, thanks for being here. I know you gotta go, and I'll DM you, dude. Appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. Peace.
Amazing, guys. Awful wrestling.